I was just sitting and thinking about forgiveness and what that looks like. So I had to ask myself, what is true forgiveness? Because my entire life I was taught that you can forgive, but don't ever forget. So if I don't forget how somebody hurt me or how somebody wronged me, what's happening is I'm not truly forgiving that person for hurting me and harming me in a way that I still carry with me within. And that resentment will build up in me and cause me to not have true forgiveness. So then I got to thinking, how do I get to the point of releasing all that? I have to first understand the person and understand myself, that I am just human and that I make mistakes, and that my intentions, while always good, a lot of times some bad things have came about good intentional experiences, and that caused me to build a resentment with myself. So to be understanding of self was how I achieve understanding another. Then I had to be extremely compassionate to that person, which in the mirror I have to first be compassionate with myself to understand that I make mistakes and that I'm not perfect, and that the truest form of forgiveness came from my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, Yeshua Elohim, going up on a cross and dying for me, because I would never be perfect, and he knew if he didn't live out and walk out that sacrifice that I would truly never know or understand or have compassion enough to forgive another human being for not being perfect as well. So what is forgiveness? If I forgive and don't forget, who is that really hurting? It's hurting the relationship experience with the other person, but it's also causing me to get angry and resentful and bitter and live in a prison of all those backed up bad emotions, because I'm not forgetting what that person did to me. And a lot of times I kept that person in my life because I said I forgave them, but I didn't truly forgive them within, because every time that they would make that same mistake, I had that lack of forgiveness there to use as a weapon against that person. And then I ended up creating more resentment and more hate and more bitterness within me that caused me to stay in a prison of lack of self-forgiveness, the lack of understanding of the human existence, that this is just one big experience, moment to moment, day by day. Because the future is just an illusion that I create in my mind. The outcome is rarely what I expect it to be. God's plans and my plans never really line up. I can work towards a goal, but when I project fear or expectation into the future, I'm always let down, which leads me to be more resentful and unforgiving of self, because I haven't realized yet that I'm not perfect. So if the future is an illusion created in the mind, then that would mean the past is simply the future past, which means that it's a tape to use in my experience to apply to this present moment right here, so that I can make good decisions to gear towards the outcome that I want. Hopefully, if I live long enough to see the future, because tomorrow is not promised. These little quick pro quos that we all use and hear, I've never really fully analyzed them to come up with my own understanding of what they meant to me. So understanding compassion has allowed me to forgive fully when someone harms me or makes a mistake. Now, that does not mean that I need to keep that person in my life. I can forgive them and put down the assault weapons of emotions that I hold on to, and walk away from that person with my head held high, knowing that I truly forgave them. Whether they forgive me or not is completely on them to figure out. But if anybody hates me in this world, or has yet to forgive me for being human and making mistakes, and didn't understand that I was just living a human experience and figuring things out along the way, well, that's a prison that they have put themselves in. But for myself, I have to forgive, forget, Let go completely of control of the outcome and give that person compassion and understanding so that I can find peace and love within me for self, because I will never be perfect, but I will try. Because if I'm not aware of something that I'm doing, it's not really my fault for making that mistake, because nobody's taught me. So if I've never been shown visually and I've never been taught verbally to listen, well, then I'm just wandering through life making mistakes and then holding on to those mistakes and never fully releasing them, which is not forgiving myself first and foremost. Because on a plane it says you have to put your oxygen mask on first and then the next person's, because if I stop breathing, how will I be able to help you? So this leads me back to everything starts in the mirror. And the mirror is not being a narcissistic view of the outside in the mirror. It's an empathetic view inside into the mirror in myself, because everything is just a projection into the world. And if I can't figure out how to forgive myself, well, this leads me back to I cannot give somebody what I do not have for self. If I can't give it to myself, then I can't give it to you. So let me know what you guys think about this. Please like and share this video if it resonates with you. Try to seek to forgive yourself today, so that down the road, if God blesses us with the first miracle of tomorrow, which is waking up, that possibly we could start some forgiveness in the world and pay it forward. God bless everybody. Find your peace, love, and happiness.